So Act 4, Scene 2, we are in Fife, and we are at the Macduff Castle. If you guys remember from yesterday, when Macbeth went and met with the witches, and he got to meet some apparitions that he was a little sassy to, and that didn't work out all that well for him. But ultimately, he decided to go and kill Macduff. But then he learned from one of his guys that Macduff has gone to England and he is mad. And so he vowed at the end of scene 1 to go and kill all of the Macduff family. And so now, scene 2, we are entering with Lady Macduff and Little Macduff, Baby Macduff? I don't know. Like, what do we want to call him? Josh? Fievel? I don't know, you know? Oh, the soon-to-be dead child. Yes, unfortunately, he is not going to survive this scene, unfortunately, which is very upsetting. But interestingly enough, Lady Macduff is going to be the only other woman in the play, if you don't count the witches. But you know what? Let's just be equal opportunists here. Let's count the witches. So we just have the 3 witches plus Lady Macbeth. And so Lady Macduff is going to be a foil to Lady Macbeth. Okay, so that is going to be her opposite. So everything about Lady Macbeth that we all love to hate, Lady Macduff is going to be the exact opposite. So she is going to be very motherly. She's going to be very loving towards her children rather than, you know, like wanting to bash their brains in. Right, yeah. So she's very sweet, okay? But she still has a spine, okay? So that's going to be a very important thing in order to know. So let's go ahead and get started here. Scene 2. Might help if I have the correct heads like being projected. That might help you.
Act 4, Scene 2. Macduff's castle in Fife. Enter Macduff's wife, her son, and Ross.
What had he done to make him fly the land?
You must have patience, madam.
He had none. His flight was madness. When our actions do not, our fears do make us traitors.
You know not whether 'twas his wisdom or his fear.
Wisdom? To leave his wife, to leave his babes, his mansion and his titles, in a place from whence himself does fly? He loves us not. He wants the natural touch, for the poor wren, the most diminutive of birds, will fight, her young ones in her nest, against the owl. All is the fear, nothing is the love, as little is the wisdom, where the flight so runs against all reason.
Well, Ross is just trying to like calm her down because she's mad that her husband left. And so he's just like, simmer down, you need to calm down because that's of course what females are always told. And it's like, no, she's like, I don't understand how my husband could leave and leave them unprotected. That's what she's the most upset about. She's like, okay, if Macbeth is such a bad guy, what's he doing leaving me behind, leaving his kids behind, leaving everyone behind? She's like, he should be here in order to protect us, or should have taken us with him. So she understands the threat of Macbeth much more than her husband, which I agree with. You can't trust Macbeth at this point.
My dearest coz, I pray you school yourself. But for your husband, he is noble, wise, judicious, and best knows the fits of the season. I dare not speak much further, but cruel are the times when we are traitors and do not know ourselves, when we hold rumour from what we fear, yet know not what we fear, but float upon a wild and violent sea each way and move. I take my leave of you. Shall not be long, but I'll be here again. Things at the worst will cease, or else climb upward to what they were before. My pretty cousin, blessing upon you.
I'm always picturing Ross Geller saying this from Friends. I don't know why, but that's just, it's in my mind and it will be forever. So Ross is saying that that he has his reasons that Macduff left. He's like, you don't really understand it all. He's like, usually, yes, Macduff is loyal to his king. He's like, but it's a very strange time when all of these loyal men are choosing to betray the king because they realize that they have to put their country before their king, because the king is not the one who's representing their country right now. So the Thanes are really realizing at this point what Macbeth is capable of, and they're just like, we have to do something to go and restore the natural order of things. Like, it's just pure and utter chaos. Everything is just horrible within Scotland. And he's saying that it's as if nature is reflecting the social fabric of uncertainty. Ooh, that's intense there. But let's see what Lady Macduff has to say about that.
Fathered he is, and yet he's fatherless.
I am so much a fool. Should I stay longer, it would be my disgrace and your discomfort. I take my leave at once.
Ross leaves.
Sirrah, your father's dead. And what will you do now? How will you live?
As birds do, mother.
What, with worms and flies?
With what I get, I mean. And so do they.
Poor bird, thou'dst never fear the net nor lime, the pitfall nor the gin.
So she looks at her son, she's like, poor kid, your dad's dead to us. Someone is not going to get a welcome back hug when he returns. She is furious with him. Oh, I know. And so she's like, oh, what are you going to do now? How are you going to live without your father, the traitor? And he's just all like, well, like a bird, Mom. And she's like, oh, you're going to eat some worms and flies? Is that how you're going to go and live? Is that how you're going to survive and thrive? And he's like, no, with what I get. He's like, so do they. They find enough to go and survive and thrive. He's like, and so will I. It's not that big of a deal, Mom. And then she says, poor bird, you could never fear the net nor lime, the pitfall nor the gin. And so she is like, oh, my sweet little baby, you have no idea what the real world is going to be like. Like, it's terrible. Do they seem to like each other, though? They seem to have a pretty good relationship. Yeah. But she's just so mad at her husband right now. I love
Why should I, mother? Poor birds, they are not set for. My father is not dead, for all your saying.
Yes, he is dead. How wilt thou do for a father?
Nay, how will you do for a husband?
Why, I can buy me 20 at any market.
Then you'll buy 'em to sell again.
Thou speakest with all thy wit. Yet, i' faith, with wit enough for thee.
Was my father a traitor, mother?
Ay, that he was.
What is a traitor?
Why, one that swears and lies.
And be all traitors that do so?
Every one that does so is a traitor, and must be hanged.
And must they all be hanged that swear and lie?
Every one.
Who must hang them?
Why, the honest men.
Then the liars and swearers are fools, for there are liars and swearers enow to beat the honest men and hang up them.
Oh, God help thee, poor monkey. How wilt thou do for a father?
If he were dead, you'd weep for him. If you would not, it were a good sign that I should quickly have a new father.
Poor prattler, how thou talk'st.
He's a little sassy, isn't he? I kind of like him, though. You can tell that they have a very good relationship because they can, just kind of like mess with each other a little bit. And he's like, the son totally understands. He's like, no, even though my dad is going against what the king, he's actually doing what's right. And so he's right. He's saying that Macbeth is such a tyrant that the people who are going against him are actually the good ones. So it's a very, like Hunger Games type of situation here, where Macduff has become Katniss. And, like, I don't know, does that does that make him Rue? Oh, that's sad. So, I mean, the mom is upset, obviously, and we can understand why she's upset, but the son is able to see things very, very clearly, as a lot of children can. And he's just like, no, my dad is not actually a traitor. He's doing what's right. And, you may be mad at him, but you still love him. He's not dead because you would be sobbing if he really were. It's pretty insightful. Oh, that's a good question of how old is he? He's probably going to be around the same age as Fleance, I would say, so maybe, like the 10 to 12 range, or like what we consider the 10 to 12 range. He might actually be a little bit younger because remember, they didn't really have teenagers back then. Like, I mean, yes, obviously, like the teen years existed, but the whole concept of like finding yourself and, you know, that kind of shift between child and adult is kind of a new concept of where people are like, oh, yeah, let's not just be like, you're an adult. Right. There were no teens. Right. Yeah, it was kind of like being aged up in The Sims, only except from going child to teen, it was child to adult. It was like, poof. No, there's not. There's not. Oh, what could the messenger have to say? Let's find out. Oh,
A messenger enters.
Bless you, fair dame. I am not to you known, though in your state of honour I am perfect. I doubt some danger does approach you nearly. If you will take a homely man's advice, be not found here. Hence with your little ones. To fright you thus, methinks I am too savage. To do worse to you were fell cruelty, which is too nigh your person. Heaven preserve you. I dare abide no longer.
how nice of this guy to just come on in and be like, hey, I know you don't know me, but you need to get your kids, get everybody, and just leave because danger is coming. He's like, I was just out on that road and I saw some things. You need to leave right now or go find a really good hiding spot. Yeah, like he has to leave too because if he's found there, he's going to die. And he's just like, bye. Oh, they seem like such nice people. They don't deserve to die. That's what makes this a tragedy. Oh no. Run away, Lady Macduff. Run away.
Should I fly? I have done no harm. But I remember now I am in this earthly world, where to do harm is often laudable, to do good sometime accounted dangerous folly. Why then, alas, do I put up that womanly defence to say I have done no harm?
And she's like, I have done nothing wrong. She's like, I'm just living my life. I'm a woman. They're not going to go and kill a woman. Does Macbeth care at this point? No. He just wants everybody dead. He is he's not going to discriminate based upon gender. That's for sure.
Enter a group of murderous soldiers.
What are these faces?
Where is your husband?
I hope in no place so unsanctified where such as thou mayst find him.
He's a traitor.
Thou liest, thou shag-haired villain!
What, you egg, young fry of treachery?
He is stabbed.
He's killed me! Arthur! Run away! I
Lady Macduff runs, pursued by the murdering soldiers.
Well, I had said that Shakespeare wouldn't kill a kid on stage. I was wrong. Well, yeah, Shakespeare has to announce, that they're gonna die or that or, how are they going to know? It's not like there's gonna be a close up. Right. Right. Lady Macduff saying, "Oh God, you killed my son. Oh no." I don't know why the murderer is calling the kid an egg. Um, but I mean, maybe it's a put down, because the son at least did get a good dig in at the end of like, "Thou liest, thou shag-haired villain." Oh no. But how sweet is that before the son dies, baby Macduff is like, "Mom, run away. Save yourself." Yeah, she's gonna die too. It's so sad. Well, I mean, look at it from this perspective of this is going to be going into scene 3 here, where Shakespeare's going to go and take his time in this next scene because we know that the son is dead. We know that Lady Macduff is going to die. So, I mean, at this point, remember, Macduff is in England. So for this next scene, when Macduff enters, he has no clue. And so we get to go and see him learn probably about this. And because he's trying to do what's right for his country, but ultimately it's going to sacrifice his entire family for it. And I mean, Macduff is going to England or has gone to England in order to go and try to get England to go and help them. But also remember who ran away to England earlier in the play to not die. Yes. So Malcolm, the one who was slated to become the next king. So really, he's kind of like Simba from The Lion King at this point. He was slated to become the next king, but then, his dad got killed. He ran away. If Malcolm comes back and kills Macbeth, he's no better than Macbeth. So it can't be Malcolm who kills him. But now Macduff will have a reason to exact his revenge. Just kind of like how Hamlet did when he found out that Claudius had killed his dad. So he is now completely 100% justified to go and kill Macbeth, but it cannot be Malcolm because a future king cannot kill a king because that's just not cool. And this is going to then go and establish that grief that he will one day find. Yeah, once he learns that his entire family is slaughtered. So sad. And so that ends scene 2.